right, everybody, welcome back. We are ready for another deep dive.
Absolutely.
And today we are talking about a code to live by.
By Ruin du Paris?
Yes, exactly. And this is, there's so much in here.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking before we started recording that it's almost like a poem.
Yes, very much so. It's got that lyrical quality.
It does.
And a very inspiring and uplifting feel to it.
It does. I think if you were to read this in like a spoken word kind of way.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
Like a Baz Luhrmann, everybody's free to wear sunscreen.
Yeah.
Yeah, vibe.
I think it would lend itself beautifully to that.
It would. So we're not going to do that today, but
maybe someday.
Maybe someday. But we are going to dive into some of the themes in here.
Yes. Let's unpack.
And there's a lot to unpack.
There is.
We've got time as an architect.
Yes.
Energy as currency.
Ooh.
And mindset as a sculptor.
Oh, that's a powerful one.
It is. So get ready, buckle up, because this is going to be quite a journey.
I'm excited.
So let's start with time. I mean, this is the one thing that we all have the same amount of.
It's the great equalizer, isn't it?
It is.
You know, we all get 24 hours in a day, no matter who you are.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we use it wisely? How do we become the architects of our own destiny, as this code suggests?
Well, it starts with recognizing that time is a powerful force, but it's also a subtle one.
Right.
It's not like this big dramatic event. It's the small, consistent actions over time.
Oh, the compound effect.
Yes, exactly. The compound effect. It's like building a cathedral, one brick at a time.
I love that analogy.
You don't see the whole structure right away, but with patience and persistence, you create something magnificent.
It's so true. I think about, when you set out to achieve a goal, it can seem daunting at first.
Absolutely.
But if you break it down into those smaller steps and just focus on showing up every day.
Consistency is key.
It really is. And you start to see the progress, and that's what keeps you motivated.
It's that momentum. You build, small wins lead to bigger wins.
And the code also talks about the importance of our network, the people we surround ourselves with.
Oh, yes, the tribe.
The tribe, it calls it. So how does that play into this idea of time being the architect?
Well, think of it this way. The company we keep shapes our perspective, right?
Right.
It influences our beliefs, our habits, even our opportunities. So if we want to make the most of our time, we need to be mindful of the people we spend it with.
Surround yourself with people who lift you up.
Exactly. People who inspire you, challenge you, support your growth, because their energy, their habits, their mindset, it all rubs off on you.
It's contagious.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think back to my early days of my career, and I was fortunate enough to be part of this amazing group of peers. We were all passionate about our work. We were constantly bouncing ideas off each other, pushing each other to be better. And that environment, it was like a greenhouse for growth.
I love that, a greenhouse for growth.
It really was.
Yeah.
We were all flourishing together.
And the code also mentions wealth in this section on time.
Yes, it talks about the magic of compounding.
Yeah. The magic of compounding.
It's one of the most powerful forces in the universe. I mean, how acorns grow into giant oak trees, how tiny snowflakes can cause an avalanche.
So how does that apply to our personal finances?
Well, think of it this way. If you invest a small amount of money regularly and let it grow over time, the returns you earn start to generate their own returns, and then those returns generate even more returns, and it just snowballs from there.
So basically, start saving early so you can retire on a beach somewhere, right?
That's the dream, isn't it?
It is. I think that's everyone's dream.
But the principle applies to anything, really. Your skills, your knowledge, your relationships, the more you invest in them, the more they compound over time.
That's a great point. So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about energy.
Yes, the currency of life.
The currency of life. I love how the code emphasizes the mind, body, and soul connection.
It's a holistic approach, recognizing that all these aspects of ourselves are interconnected.
So true. We can't just focus on one and neglect the others.
Exactly. It's like trying to run a car on an empty tank.
You're going to stall out.
Exactly. You need fuel for your mind, your body, and your soul.
So let's break it down, starting with the mind. What are some practical ways to cultivate mental energy?
Well, the code talks about meditation.
Meditation. Okay, I've got to admit, I used to be skeptical of meditation.
A lot of people are.
I thought it was just, sitting in lotus pose chanting Om.
Yeah, the stereotype.
But then I actually tried it.
Yeah.
And I was surprised by how much it helped me focus and manage stress.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It is. It's like clearing out the mental clutter.
It's like hitting the reset button on your mind.
Exactly. So how would you describe meditation to someone who's never tried it before?
Well, I'd say it's not about emptying your mind or achieving some kind of blissful state. It's more about training your attention, learning to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment.
It's like a mental workout.
Exactly. And just like any workout, it takes practice, but the more you do it, the stronger your focus becomes, the better you're able to manage stress.
I've definitely noticed that in my own life, the more I meditate, the calmer I feel, the more clear-headed I am.
And that clarity, it allows you to make better decisions, to be more present, more productive.
It ripples out into every area of your life.
It really does. And then there's the physical energy piece.
The code talks about honoring our vessel, which
Yes.
is such a beautiful way of putting it.
It is. It's about treating our bodies with respect, nourishing them with healthy food, movement, and enough rest.
So it's not about punishing ourselves with crazy diets or grueling workouts.
No, it's about finding a sustainable rhythm, listening to your body's cues.
And what works for one person might not work for another.
Exactly. We're all unique. We have different needs, different preferences. It's about finding what feels good for you.
What makes you feel energized?
Exactly. You know, some people thrive on early morning workouts. Others prefer evening yoga sessions. It's about experimenting and finding what works for you.
And then there's the soul. This is where things get a little more esoteric.
A little more mystical.
What does it mean to feed the soul?
Well, I think it's about connecting with something larger than yourself, something that gives you a sense of purpose, meaning, and inspiration.
So it could be different things for different people.
Absolutely. For some, it might be spending time in nature. For others, it might be through creative expression or acts of service or spiritual practices.
It's about finding what lights you up.
Exactly what makes you feel alive, connected to your true self.
I love that. And now on to the final piece of the puzzle.
Mindset.
Mindset, the code calls it the sculptor of reality, which I think is so empowering.
It really is. It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our thoughts, our beliefs, and ultimately our experiences.
So we're not just victims of circumstance.
Yeah, we have agency. We have the power to choose how we interpret events, how we respond to challenges.
One of the first things the code talks about in this section is gratitude.
Gratitude is a powerful practice. It's about shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have.
And it's not about denying or suppressing negative emotions.
No, it's about acknowledging the full spectrum of human experience while choosing to focus on the good.
Because there's always something to be grateful for.
Always, even in the midst of challenges, there are still blessings to be found.
And the code also talks about cultivating an abundance mindset.
Oh yes, that's a game changer.
Instead of seeing the world as a pie with limited slices,
It's about believing that there's enough for everyone.
enough opportunity, enough resources, enough love.
Exactly. It's about shifting from a scarcity mentality to a mentality of abundance.
And that shift can have a profound impact on your life.
It really can. It opens you up to new possibilities, new connections, new ways of thinking.
And it can be contagious too.
Absolutely. When you approach life with an abundance mindset, you inspire others to do the same.
And finally, the code introduces this concept of being a destineer.
Ooh, I like that.
Instead of being a passive passenger in life,
You take the wheel.
you create your own path. You write your own story.
You become the author of your own destiny.
And that's ultimately what this code is all about. Isn't it empowering us to live a life that is true to ourselves?
Yes, a life that is filled with purpose, meaning, and joy.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, what's one thing that really resonated with you from A Code to Live By?
You know what I keep coming back to is that idea of time being the architect. It's such a powerful reminder that our lives are shaped by the small choices we make every day.
So choose wisely.
Exactly, and be patient with yourself.
Because those small choices, they compound over time.
They do, and they create something beautiful.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on. So until next time, fellow Destineers, keep crafting those incredible lives.
And remember, the power is within you.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.